So if you're new to improvising and you've gone ahead and learned pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale, if I played an E, it would be this shape. The next step to further your improvisations is learning some licks or phrases that use notes from that scale shape. This is how we get around that whole feeling of just sounding like you're playing a scale when you're improvising, right? Get something a bit more interesting going on. Because believe it or not, when you are hearing people improvising, they're not just coming up with the stuff out of a vacuum. They've learned a whole bunch of licks and solos themselves, and they're just kind of regurgitating them in their own kind of context. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you 5 licks using that pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale that you can use when you're improvising. And all of these licks we're going to be playing in the key of E minor, which would mean we're starting pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale on the 12th fret or an E note. And if you want a PDF of all these licks as well as an extension of this lesson going into a bit more detail and moving around keys and whatnot, I'll have that up on my Patreon, but if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I'll have the tabs up on the screen so you can follow along, no problem. So the first lick, we're going to be bending up on the 14th fret of the G, then playing the 12 on the B, then the 12 on the high E. Bend the 14 up, 12 of the B, 12 of the high E. Now you can repeat this as many times as you want. And again, it's using all notes in that pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale. So any context where you can use that scale, this lick is going to work. And at the end, I've written a bend on the 15th fret after 4 repetitions. But you can do it as many times as you want. You could do it once, 4 times. You can also experiment with changing the last note, okay? You don't have to finish it with this. I could go and then play some other notes in the scale. It's up to you. I just wrote that 15 there to end it as an example and because it sounds pretty cool. Cool, so that is lick number 1. Now lick number 2 is going to start the same. We bend the 14th fret on the G, then we play the 12 on the B, hammer onto the 15th of the B, and then pull back off to the 12 of the B. So I bend the 14 up, a full step bend, 12, 15, 12. And again, I can repeat this as many times as I want. Right, you've heard that before. You've heard Slash play that once or twice. And then you bend the 15 if you want at the end. But again, you can end this however you want, okay? You can customize it. So you can play that maybe 4 times. Then do something in the pentatonic scale, okay? So that's lick number 2. Lick number 2. Bend the 14, 12, hammer to the 15, pull off to the 12. And in terms of fingering, you can either use your middle for the bend and then your third for the 15, or you can use your third finger for the bend and then use your pinky for the 15. But I think the main thing with this lick to be able to get it really fast is you want to use a different finger for the 14 and the 15. If you try use the same one, it's kind of hard, but if I do that, it's a lot easier. So that's lick number 2. Now lick number 3 is a bit trickier. Again, all using notes in pattern 1. We're going to start on the 12 of the high E, then we pull off from the 15 to the 12. And then we do a full bend on the 15. So 12, 15, 12, then the 15. Then we do the same thing, 12, 15, 12, but now we bend the 14 on the G. So I go 12, 15, 12, bend the 15, 12, 15, pull off to 12, bend the 14. And I can repeat that. That kind of thing. And again, do it as many times as you want. You can do it once. You can do it twice. Whatever you want. It's up to you. So those first 3 licks have been some cool little repeating ideas that sound, you know, just your classic rock star kind of licks. These next ones are more ways to descend down the scale and ascend, or going up, in a bit more of an interesting way than just going down a scale or up a scale. Okay, so this first one, we're going to start on the 15. We're going to play 15, pull off to 12, then 15 on the B, 12 of the high E, then back to the 15 of the B, and then pull off the 12. And that is one repetition of the pattern. So we go 15, 12, 15, 12, 15, 12. And then we do that same pattern, but now using the B and the G string set. So now I'm going to start on this B string, play 15, pull off to 12, 14 on the G, back to 12, then 14, and then 12 on the G. So again, just using notes in this pattern, okay? So then I start on the G, 14, pull off to 12, 14 on the D, back to 12, 14, pull off to 12, and then you can finish on this 14 here. So again, the idea with this is that we have a pattern, and we just repeat it on each string set of that position of the pentatonic scale, and then we can resolve it here. Now the last one is a way to go up the scale that is a bit more interesting than just going like this. So we're going to go 12, hammer to 15, 12 on the A, 15, pull off to 12, and then we jump up to the 14 on the A, pull off to 12, and then 15. So that is the pattern. And then we just do that same pattern starting on the next string set. 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14. Then on the next string set. And then you can play that note again to resolve it. Or again, you can keep going up the scale if you want. Which I'll go over in more detail on the Patreon. Okay, so now we have 5 licks. We have 3 repeating ones. We have this one. We have this. We have this one. And we have this one to go down the scale. We have one going up. Right, so now I have 5 licks that I can use when I'm improvising. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that was helpful. But now I'm going to head over to the Patreon and go over these licks in a bit more detail and how to move them around different keys and things like that. And I'll see you next time.